I always thought that soccer was going to change my life because I was going to be a professional player, making money and all of that. But it actually gave me way more. It brought me to the United States. This is going to be one of the strongest statements, but I feel more American than Italian. I really want to bring my bloodline here just because, once again, I love this country. I feel like a lot of people come here because opportunity, like I love it. Now my journey, I wanted to inspire other people because I didn't make it yet. Am I going to make it? Yes, by the way. It's not even who knows. It's like yes, because it's all in your mind.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Vince Perri, your serial entrepreneur, exit advisor, business broker, all about business. And today, I've got what I'm starting to think here is local Tampa, one of the most successful marketing people on social media that I know. I mean, such amazing content. We've got Giacomo Sanvitale, also known as Giaco.
Yeah.
A fellow Italian, except he's much more Italian than I am. I'm 3 generations removed from Italy, but I'm really excited to have. I've been following Giaco for quite some time. An amazing Instagram channel, just an amazing podcast, very unique while he runs, and it's just been an amazing thing. And Giaco, welcome to the show, man.
No, thank you so much. I like I was telling you off camera, I'm a fan of podcasts. I feel like there's so much connection and purpose in getting to know someone. Honestly, real life, like people are seeing our first conversation. So thank you so much for giving me the platform. I never take it for granted.
Yeah. Giaco, could you please tell us your story? I mean, I know that could probably take an hour, but a shortened version of the story, then I'll ask you some questions on everything else.
Yeah, grew up in Milan, in Italy, from a single mother. So always had these, I had to become a man very quickly, right? Since I was young, I had to be my own strength. The more I grow up and the more I go into a age where I would love to be a father, the more I recognize that the younger, immature version of me was like, oh, like, I'm fine. And I was fine because I was blessed with an incredible mother and 2 grandparents that are still with us. But having a father in life, it's really important. And so definitely I wanted, which is going to be connected to my story, like to show what is possible and that, you can be your own person if you go through the right experiences and the right learnings. And so did basically my whole childhood. Like I don't really have great memories for my whole childhood because I was just like struggling with understanding what life is about, right? Like why am I the only one not to have a father? Why every time I go to school, the professors like, oh, how's your mom? Like they used to look at us like if we were like damned or something. Like they were used to look at my mom like she failed, right? Mm-hmm. I know that here in the States as well can be like that, but there in Italy it was crazy. And so I always felt mad, not even compassionate about it. I was mad because I was already protecting my mom, like, dude, relax, you know what I'm saying? And so I grew up with this incredible passion and anger, probably more anger than passion, that then, now it's 100% passion about like, I'll show them. I'll show them. They think that we failed for something. I am 4 years old, 6 years old, and I feel like I'm already failing because of another person's decision. So this anger that people saw inside of me, I never was able to explain it. And if people, you can take 100 people that know me, they're going to say determined. That's the first question. Like, I never wasted my time. My college experience was like the most boring one just because like I never want to waste time. But before college, of course, I played soccer for 23 years. I always say that college soccer saved my life because I never got into drugs or alcohol, which where I'm from can be an option. And the other one is that I always thought that soccer was going to change my life because I was going to be a professional player, making money and all of that. But it actually gave me way more. It brought me to the United States and it made me, honestly, it removed everything from me and had like, you have one scholarship, one opportunity, you're 20 years old, you have nothing, no bridges, no connections. None of my family ever came to the United States before me. You just got to make it happen. So that's what soccer gave me, the opportunity to really almost be in the apocalypse of life and be like, let's see what you got. And so, I went to play in Switzerland at 15. I always took opportunities. So I left Italy, went to play in Switzerland, played there. Even at 15, I was considered crazy because in Italy, why would you leave Italy to go play in Switzerland? I had this opportunity, was some of the best years of my life. Incredible, honestly, attention to details that they have in Switzerland, amazing. And then there I found a coach that he really believed in me. He saw something, he heard my story. That's actually something that I probably never said, but the difference between the coaches that I still remember and the coaches that maybe hate me today, because of course then I reacted, they were not interested in who I was, right? So they were like, oh, this kid, right, he's so arrogant and stuff. For me, I just don't want to, if I'm on the bench, I'm wasting my time, which is the wrong, right? And now today I try to tell the youth generation, take your time, right? Show them what you got, stay in the team. But on my time, I had nobody to teach me that. And so for me, if I'm on the bench, I'm wasting my time. But that coach, he knew about my father, and he knew about like where I was coming from, and he gave me every opportunity where he literally made me captain. That's how much he believed in me. And so I played so good that then I received this opportunity to go play in Missouri. So not LA, not Miami, New York. And I always say, thank God. I don't want to be in a city where everything is normal. I went to Missouri. I bought like, I think it was 2.2K car. Like, honestly, I didn't, they say your car has to bring it from point A to point B. I didn't know if I was going to make it to point B. It was just a car. And I'm telling you, most of the times where I was playing, I didn't pay for gas. I used to go inside of the store and the lady was like, oh, your accent, oh, you're from Italy, oh, tell me something. Gas is on me. That's never going to happen like in LA, Miami, or New York. So that's kind of what brought me here, of course, the start of my story. And yeah, depends where we want to go from here.
All right, that's it. We're good. That was the show. Thank you very much, everyone. that was amazing. You mentioned one thing that I found very interesting is that the only coach that you remember is the one that actually cared about you. And the reason why I bring that up is I just had a conversation with a client yesterday, and we were going back and forth. We did 2-day intensive, like really deep diving into his business. And we were talking systems and operations and marketing and sales and future growth and all these things. It wasn't until I got to the employees and the culture where he started to get very concerned. I could see like his whole demeanor started to change. This is after 2 days. And I start to ask him questions and he's concerned because the culture of the company is not where it's at. But he told me for 2 days that everyone at the company has been there for 19 years. 8 years, 20 years, 30 years, like all this longevity. They've been there from the beginning. And I just didn't understand why. And he's like, well, because this one, she's really good, but she doesn't really care. And then this one over here, she's okay. She's not terrible, but she doesn't care about the business growing and this and that. And I'm like, and I saw some names and I said, this is one of his top people. I said, do you know what his name's Don. The guy's name is Don. Do you know what Don's goals are? And he goes, well, yeah, he wants to get more sales and this and that. I said, no. I said, do you know what his goals are? And he's like, oh. He's like, you mean like personal goals? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, I have no idea. I was like, have you actually given the time to sit down with some of your people that you say don't care and actually cared about what their goals are? And he's like, no, I haven't. I said, you can't expect somebody to care about you if you don't really care about them. Yeah. And it brings up what you're talking about. The only coaches that you actually care about are the ones that actually cared about you.
Yeah, and it goes even deeper, honestly. I didn't even expect to touch that, but it's very important. All the teams that I won, that I was in, they were all good friends with a good coach. All the teams that didn't win, let's say maybe the coach was good, but we were not connected, right? And so I always remember, not because I have nothing against, but because like even if you remove me, we had like an incredible team. In 2021, I played close to Portland in Oregon. We had like one of the best teams that I've seen. We had a guy that was coming from professional. I have no idea why he was there. Now he went back like to Spain and he's like one of the top players in Kings League Spain. We had another guy from Division One, like all these players. And 1 week passes by and 2 weeks passes by and 3 weeks passes by. And I'm like, I'm already a little bit older, right? I'm in the older side of the team, like these guys. And I'm like, we haven't even eat a pizza together. Like, the guy finishes training, he goes back home. The other guy goes to the dorm. The other guy is with a girlfriend. I generally had no idea who these people were. Like, and I was part of the problem because I was like, this is how it is. Like now I have the strength to maybe like speak up or be like, hey, we should do this and that. I was not in that position there, but it's incredible how you play different, you feel different, and you remember different if you actually invest your time in what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure. And care about everyone that's around you, because when you care about them, then that elevates everybody's game.
100%.
All right. Well, I wanted to see if we could start with, honestly, the initial thing that attracted me to you was you managed to build 800,000 followers before you could even legally monetize due to visa restrictions. Yes, sir. What is the story behind you being able to gain 800,000 followers? Because I've been trying to get past 10,000 for I don't know how many years, and I can't get past that.
Well, I don't know if you're going to like this answer, but what I always say is that I generally didn't care. So the more I see people that they're so obsessed about it, the more stuck I see them. Because for me, I still don't know how to be famous. People are like, oh, I have no idea. If you think I'm famous, maybe I'm famous. But I always said, people always laugh about it, but I really have the life of Anna Montana. Like if I go back to Italy, for my ex-girlfriend, this was really shocking because, you're here and it's like, okay, like, Giacomo here is like, nobody knows me and whatever. And then we arrive at the airport in Italy, and, I'm taking my luggages, and, people are stopping me for pictures or like, for a little video, can you say hi to my friend? And I'm like, I was shocked myself because I forget. I come here, usually I go back to Italy like now once a year, probably sometimes not even. And it's like, I love that, but I'd never done it for that. Like, people, they just want the recognition, but I always say, why do you want to have all these followers? What's your message? So the biggest thing for me, if you ask me how I got 800,000 followers, was the message, right? I grew up alone. I had no friends. That's why I hear a lot of people, especially at my age, 25, 28, 30, be like, oh, 10 years ago, things were so much better, right? When I was 15, 18, thank God I cannot go back. My life, I hated it. I was 15, 16. I was in the bedroom of like, my room, no friends, nobody invited me anywhere. I just always felt that I was wrong. And so I had to find out myself, then to the United States. That's why USA is going to be always an important country for me. For me, it's the best country in the world and where I want to have my kids in. But it's the whole point was like me coming to the States and buying a camera just to have someone to talk to. I didn't have friends to FaceTime. I sometimes had my mom, but of course my mom, like she doesn't really love to stay 1 hour on the phone. She has to work. So I had the camera, I literally put it here, honestly, similar table to my dorm. Take the camera and just like talk and talk and talk. And, you make one video, 2 videos. And then I think when I trained with the Portland Timbers under 23, which was like a big team, they were like, oh, when's the next video? When's the next video? I'm like, I don't know. Should I plan? And that's where my career kind of started.
What do you feel has been the effect of the social media success?
I mean, for the people that follow me, honestly, a lot. I really give myself props to that because I think I helped more than 2,000 kids to come to the United States with my story.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
I just got interviewed 2 days ago from this guy that now is famous, by the way. Like, he came because of my videos, like, thanks to my videos as well. Because whenever I came here, I was one of the first Italians to come. I don't know what number, but one of the first ones. So if you tell me like, hey, USF gave you a scholarship, right? How's USF? Who knows? There's nobody that showed you that. I was the first one to show you what, for an Italian, the college athlete life is. Like, I was recording everything because I had nothing to lose. I was recording me in the cafeteria with, I mean, even now would be a little bit like, it's outside your comfort zone, but like everybody's staring at me. Like, I was the weird kid with tattoos coming from Italy, right? That is like recording himself eating eggs in the cafeteria. And for me, it was like, I know what I am doing. Like, one day this is going to help someone. Even when I had like 2,000 views, right? And so I helped all these people because whenever now they're like, oh, should I do college athlete? Should I go to the United States? How the college athlete, path can help me? Let me see what Giacomo, and I really not only made the videos, but I made the hard videos. Guys, I'm not playing. The coach doesn't like me. I'm not playing. This is how I feel. I'm alone. Because if you don't play in Italy, you can call your friend and go to his house. You can go to your mom, have a nice dinner. I was back in my dorm. And so I feel like the other thing that really helped a lot of people was when I got 2 surgeries because I was diagnosed with like a syndrome in my legs. And I did spring break in my dorm. I think we were 2 people in the dorm. And it was one of the hardest periods of my life. But I showed that. And so people could have an idea about, oh, wow, the American dream is not about, I go to the United States, I'm a millionaire tomorrow, but it's about the grind, like the real grind. The only difference is that here, if you grind, you can really make it.
How has it impacted your life? How has it changed your life?
I mean, in me personally, honestly, everything positive, I'd say, because once again, I didn't really care about it. I met and worked and made videos with some of my idols, right? Like here I'd say like my idol in Italy would be here, no, I don't know, as famous or
Hannah
important.
Montana?
No, kind of like, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, right? Mm-hmm. Different personalities at all, but like someone that you're like, oh, that's the guy. His name is Just Ron, actually. And I used to watch him every time when I was young and like, alone. And then, we connected and like, I actually helped him going back in shape with my team of like personal trainers in Italy. I've done probably every possible event you can do in Italy. I've, won championships of like, creators. I went in the national team of content creators. Like, they flew me when I was in the States and be like, hey, you're going to be here. So I've seen things that people can only dream of. And I still feel like I've seen some other content creators that you get so used to it that it's normal. For me, it's still not normal. Like, it's not normal that you said you're from Calabria. I worked with the professional team of Reggio Calabria for 2 years. And I was there with the players at dinner. And I was there before the game started with like the whole federation.
And that's because they saw you on social media.
Yeah, and it's not even because like the thing that I'm most proud of, they were like, we just love how genuine you are. That was it. They were way better creators, all these editors and like, script writers. But for me, they were just like, man, you're just you. We want you to tell the story of our team and our city. I think the most viral video they had on social media, I don't know, probably 10K, 2K. I went one time, I made one video, 220K in probably like 3 months because people were like, thank you so much for like, I still have people today. This is 4 years ago telling me like, please, whenever you come back, like, let me know you can have dinner at my place. And it's just like, I was going out. Sometimes they stop me and not the player. And that's insane, man. Like, the team, and actually one of the players was like, I'm actually one of your fan. Can we train tomorrow together? I'm like, what is this life? But for me, I was just, honestly, it's still shocking to me,
What do you say to the people that don't want to post on social media because, it's whatever. I don't want people to know about my life, or it's a waste of time, or...
I don't feel that social media is for everyone. I feel like, in today's society, everybody feels like, oh, I got to post. I don't think it's for everyone. I've seen people that, friends of mine, they were like, oh, you're so successful, I'm going to start social media. And they just didn't have the passion, right? Like, oh, I wanted to vlog, but you just don't have the passion, brother. And that's okay. But I feel that the biggest thing for me that I see people struggle with is not even about posting social media, it's about the imposter syndrome, right? And so you post on social media and you make like videos about the gym, and then you have one comment where it's like, oh, actually you don't have a good physique, boom, I don't post anymore. Because they are just at the first layer of what this incredible universe is. The real layer when you do social media or marketing, whatever, it's the message, right? Because if I'm posting social media because 4 years ago I was bullied and I cried myself to sleep, if Matthew, Francis, or Kristen tell me that like I suck, I don't care, because my 15 years old version suffered those years, and there's like 30 million maybe people like that. I'm doing it for them. So I never cared about like people criticizing me. I always, the more successful people like you, people that come in my interview, man, they could not care 1 second about these people, because they're just like, man, I'm just working. I'm too much busy working, spread positivity. That's what it's all about.
I think it's hilarious when people start. I have 5 daily non-negotiables.
Okay.
And there's a story behind this. One of them is you have to exercise every day. You have to, I can't even remember my own name. Anyway, 2 of them are, I have to send an open message to like new follows and stuff like that. And I have to post on social media 3 times a day.
Okay.
I was telling my friend this. I have a good friend of mine who in the last year has lost his job and got a divorce. Right? He's struggling. And he's like, what are your daily non-negotiables? I said, exercise, eat right, everything that I do. And then I say, I also post on social media 3 times a day. He's like, man, I like 4 out of the 5. He's like, but the social media one, I said, that's not really for me. I said, listen, man. I said, if I could say anything about social media, for me, it's 2 things. Number 1, there's nothing more than looking at yourself in the camera that shows all of your insecurities and like how you feel weird, and your voice and this on your eye and your hair, and you just feel weird. You just got to do it. And then number 2 is I told him, I said, now when you're going through this is the perfect moment for you to post content. I said, because one thing that happens to me, and I don't have nearly as many followers as you do, but at least once a week, once or twice a month, I'll get a comment or a message from somebody that says, thank you so much for posting that. That made a huge impact. Thank you so much. I didn't know that. I learned this. I learned that. You helped me get to here because of this, because of that. I'm sure you get a lot more than that. And I told him, I said, it's usually the videos that are what I call your kryptonite, that really show your deepest fears and some of your biggest insecurities that make the most impact on somebody else. I said, you have a divorce right now and you lost your job and you're going through it. I mean, now's the time to post.
Yeah. Funny enough that you're saying this, today I'm going to publish a video, how I buy groceries. I don't know if you saw me pulling up with a Mercedes and you were like, oh, this car is a little bit like too
old for you, man.
I don't have a car.
Okay. What happened to the Genesis?
Oh, it was just a collaboration.
Okay.
And even that, I posted the collaboration, and a lot of my followers or friends, they were like, "Man, so happy for you got the car." That's just how I like to be. I made a story about this is not my car. I don't want people to think that I am what I'm not. But I don't have a car, and so today I'm publishing a video about how I buy groceries. I walk 30 minutes under the sun to go buy groceries with my little wagon. I buy groceries and I walk back home. And so whenever I was thinking about this, not that I was ashamed, but it's like, I think a car will change my life. I don't know if he wants me to say the name, but whatever. One of my creator friends, he was like, I think that's one of the probably most beautiful videos you're gonna post. Like, even when, and you will have the whatever, like, the 911 Porsche, to look back, whether it's for your kids or for your followers or for you, and like, you're literally under 34 degrees Celsius, 105 Fahrenheit, buying groceries like that. And I'm like, that's what I actually do. And he was like, that's the videos that you have to post, and that's why I'm posting it today. So, you talk about struggle, bad moments. Not that I don't think I ever felt ashamed of them, but I was like, I don't think it's interesting. And then he was the one to be like, I think it's super interesting. Like, it's gonna be one of the most boring videos. It's just you walking, right, with different angles. I really put myself in uncomfortable, like you'll see. But yeah, that's a new wave for me as well.
You're just trying to get your steps in, bro. You're just trying to get a good sweat. Come on, let's face it.
I wish.
Giaco, you mentioned that you always tried to be genuine and you try to be honest. That's one thing that, so my social media story is a little bit different than yours. I was in an industry called public adjusters. It's a very, very niche industry. So if you have damage in your home and you file an insurance claim and you have to fight with the insurance company, you used to hire me to help you fight with the insurance company. I did it for 10 years, and then I started a YouTube channel only coaching public adjusters. Super, super niche. I wouldn't say I went viral, but because it was so niche, I became like an influencer in that industry. And anytime I put on events all the time, or I would go to events, people would want selfies. So I understand what you're talking about. And I was always so happy because the most common comment or thing that people would say to me is, you're the same person here that you are in your videos. You're so genuine. I can tell that you're honest. And I love that because I didn't know, people don't know who you are. It's the first time they meet you and they're like, you're so genuine. How do you know? You don't even know me. But if I believe that that's the most important thing if you're going to have any success in social media. Do you agree, or is there anything else?
100%. And it's crazy how I feel like now the rarity is in being like that, right? People are like,
yes.
Oh, wait, you're the same. I'm like, am I supposed to be something different? And one of the reasons why actually with my running podcast is we used to do we prepare the interview kind of like you're doing right now, just on social media, right? So whatever, famous person, blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, it's just like a little too superficial for me. It was like, we're asking stuff that he already expects, whatever. What we started to do from the 6th episode is actually have a quick FaceTime call with them. 10 minutes, 30 minutes.
I've been meaning to do that too.
Yeah, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, where some calls, they went to 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
Some went to 5 minutes. I have a meeting soon. Like, okay, whatever, no problem. But the stories, and that's why I feel the podcast has become so powerful and everybody has been talking about it in Tampa, because we had, I'm pretty sure he's comfortable with it, but we had Ashton, which is this incredible comedian. He's so funny. First of all, he's even nicer than the videos. But we're doing this call, and I'm like, okay, man, I think I have a very good episode with you, comedy, FSU, this and that. And he's like, well, by the way, I just got assaulted because of my videos. I'm like, I would have never known that.
Assaulted
because a guy was chirping on him about hey, I don't like your videos, and I think he punched him. In a bar of the college or something like that.
No.
And I was like, that's insane, man, And as much as it's gonna scare the people that are already scared about, the public eye, I think it's gonna be a beautiful message about how did you handle it and this and that. And it was honestly it was the most powerful thing about it. I didn't care about the followers, didn't care about this and that. It's just how nice he was about the whole fact about, this thing happened to me in my life and I keep going.
Right.
So you definitely, I feel like that's the most powerful. Once your followers change you and they control you, the whole game is reversed,
Right.
You're losing it now.
So you started a company, Undercurrent.
No, that's my management team.
That's your management team?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess what I really want to know, what I really want to hit home here with, and then I want to get into the impact that you want to make and everything, even though you've already made a huge impact. I guess what I really want to get into is just in regards to the marketing aspect. One last question about this and social media. I know you're not necessarily a business coach or anything like that, but people in business nowadays, where we're at, 2026, and the impact of social media and AI and all of these things. I mean, it's also part of your personal brand. How important is it to have a personal brand?
I mean, it's everything. I feel
a personal brand. I don't mean a company brand. How important is it to have a personal brand?
It's everything. I have actually a lot of people here in the States, here in Tampa, they're just they write me sometimes, not what I do, but they write me sometimes. They're like, hey, I just want to understand how I can have a better message, a better motto, a better personal brand about what I do. And I just am not at a point in my life where it will be my priority. Whenever I do something, I'm very intentional and I give 100%. I'm here today in this podcast because I want to do it. I see what you do and I feel like I want to be in there. I don't care about if doing something that I don't want to do. I don't go to networking events that I'm not like 100% sold on.
I have another question, actually. Sorry to interrupt you. If you could quickly in your head take us through your process on how you create content, what's your process?
Well, the running podcast, it's
yeah.
of course, it's very special. Right? It's just what I call right now my baby. I've had different projects in my life, but this is just the one where I really feel the most purpose. For me, the biggest thing, I try to ask some advices to the people around here just because I'm so new, right? So who do you think I should have? But the biggest thing for me, let's say that you send me someone, I don't really care about the followers. Of course, for me, the followers is so important because if you can create so many people like I've done
It's impact
to follow
too.
impact, I'm just like, my first question always in the FaceTime call, you can ask any of my guests is, why are you so much followed? Like, I don't know your story, why? And so I look at the profile and this and that, and we just want to understand or like have on the podcast people that can really help someone, right? So the point of the videos is not for the biggest views. The videos are not, some of them are going viral, but it's not the biggest views. We had people which had, I think, 14K, 12K, and I have people in my DMs that want to come on and they have like 300K, 200K. But the stories of these people, without, saying the names, but, with 14K and see their passion and what they stand for, I'm like, if I cannot help someone, his message is going to help someone. So once I reach the person, I try to once again have this call. The call might get terrible, and actually never happened. So I've been very blessed. And then we really connect because in that point, which is also something that as a host you have to be good, is like it's like probably 1% about me, it's 99% about them. So are they smiling? I'll try to smile more. If they're sad, right? Once again, I had some people that they were like, I have 5 minutes. I'm not gonna tell them like, excuse me, you have 5 minutes? I'm like, sure, tell me what you wanna tell me in 5 minutes. And then the other thing that this podcast really has so many details and key concepts that you learn at school, but then you actually have to activate. Is also like the personal relationship. Like we meet them at Bayshore, are you gonna greet them and this and that? So we try to. My videographer is amazing as well to match their energy. If they start, some of them they start defensive, right? Like how what we're gonna do, whatever you feel comfortable we're gonna do, right? The questions are never. A surprise for them. They're always like what we talked about, and they all left being like, this was such an amazing experience. So I really feel that in this project it really made me understand how it's not really about me, it's about like making an impact, but in this case with them.
So for those that don't know, Giaco has a show that he runs 2 miles while interviewing somebody. Now, I am proud to say that would not be much of an issue for me, but have you had a guest that didn't make it, or because you're running and talking? That would be difficult for me. That's got to be difficult for anybody.
I always try to keep this a secret.
Say it's Christian. Say it's Christian. I know it is because he was on my show.
No, Christian was amazing. Honestly, I mean, he told us, he was like, look at.
I saw his story. He's like, I almost died.
We started actually running 2 miles with all of them, like straight 2 miles, 2 miles, 2 miles. Then 2 things happened. The first one is that, yes, we had some guests that they had trouble. They were just like, man, I cannot do it. We had some guests. The biggest mistake that I see, not too much, but the biggest mistake is that they start so fast. And I'm like, okay, like we can do that. Even my videographer, he can run backwards that fast. But it's like they start so fast and then, they get very tired.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, why don't we start like jogging? Then, we can match your pace. So that's why we started doing that. The other thing that it's almost like an asset now is at the end of the month, of the mile, we actually stop. And they can catch their breath. My videographer can, rest his hamstrings. And we actually have some amazing conversations off camera. So we have the first mile, maybe they're like, oh, this was so cool. Like, okay, so the next mile, so we kind of like reassure them about what the next mile is going to be, which is usually the second mile is easier because you have now 4 questions running and the last one is always walking, which is, what does happiness look like for you in the next 5 years? And so we actually now are, I'd say like, even if the guests can run, we actually had like a guy that I think is going to win the IROX in Tampa in October. It was amazing. But after the first mile, I told him like, hey, let's rest 1 second. And he told us so many incredible stories. Sometimes it's about fate, sometimes about that, off camera. And then we had an amazing last mile. So yeah, now we try to do 1 mile, little break, second mile.
Have you ever run out of questions because
No.
they took too long in the 2 miles? Or
No, actually, sometimes they're too fast.
Too fast.
And so they're like, ask me some more. And so we keep like, maybe they really have like kind of a surprising question, but I really take the time to think about the episode. Like I love what I do. So I really take my grind to be like, what do I think is amazing for them to reply to? What do you think would be nice for them to share? And what do you think might surprise them, but can actually help the audience?
You ask different questions, or I thought you kind of always ask similar. It's always different? I'm sorry if
It's okay. Always different. The only one that is the same is the last one.
But your questions are prepared beforehand.
Yeah, I prepare all of
and
it.
Memorized.
Yeah, I mean
Because how do you do it while you're running? How do you?
We run. If I don't know a question, I just like literally pick the phone 1 second. I read the question, then we record it. But we're still running.
Got it. Yeah, because that's right. Because you have the camera guy.
Yeah,
going.
yeah.
Is there anything that I wouldn't know that's complicated about doing a running podcast, like logistically?
I mean, 100%.
Like what about the other people that are running and stuff, or what about weather?
I wouldn't really. We were honestly being very.
And what time do you do it in? Because at 12 or 1 o'clock would be a terrible time.
10
to do that.
a.m. in the morning. 10 a.m.
I would do it at 9.
we do it at 10 a.m. I would say like the people has never been a problem. I think probably 2 times. Yeah, like the people that we were doing it with, like they're very followed. So we had like, you have the interview and they're like, hey, what's up? Here we go, man. So I'm like, okay, let's redo that, because like their fans were like going crazy to see them actually running in Bayshore. But for me, it was just I wasn't even upset. Like, if we are okay, we have to redo it. I redo it because once again, for me I see them being recognized and being appreciated for what they do. That's the most beautiful thing of what they're doing.
Jaco, if you had someone come to you right now and says, Jaco, I really want to start a personal brand. I have a company. I really want to get going. What is the advice that you would give them?
In my
like
opinion,
starting from scratch.
I feel like the top 2 variants that connect the whole thing is about why and why people should care, right? Because your why can be also like boring for other people, right? My why is to do it for my family, because once again, I was born with a disadvantage. Why? Because once again, I was like, at 15, I had nothing. But if that would be my why for my audience, like, hey, by the way, like I came from a single mother. I don't want to have people to follow me because they have pity. Like they feel bad for me. That's not what I would do. So the why for the people for me is more about like, hey, look, whatever happens, because every life is different. You can really make it if you just like take your time and focus on what you can build and like, create an amazing life for yourself, because nobody gifted me anything in my life. So I feel like just really ask why, because I've seen people think like it's so stupid, right? You open TikTok tomorrow or today and you're probably going to see a video about like your why. But people just like, they listen, but they don't listen. They don't embrace it. Like the why is very important, because when you start and you're like, why? I want to be famous. In 2 months, you're going to be so bored about like, you're famous for what? Then you cannot eat dinner and you're famous. But for what are you famous, right? Because you can be famous also for the wrong reasons. So it has to be a good why. So I would say why and why people should listen to you.
What is your why?
My why is, once again, I grew up with like I wouldn't say the worst conditions. I had a roof on my head and, I was very lucky for that. But I just felt like my life was honestly worthless. Like I want to show my mom and my grandparents invested so much in me as someone that, always was looked as the guy that, I wouldn't say that I almost like the sick guy, but my professor used to look at me like, oh, he doesn't have a dad. I don't want people to feel bad on me. I want them to be like, okay, that guy, I was held back in school. Like I had my first tattoo at 15. People thought that I was, going to jail at 18 probably. But for me, I was just like, I had so much creativity and so much thing going in my head that once I, went through therapy and I grew up and I got to know myself also because of this experience, it turned out in all these amazing projects, also the reason why I'm here.
So now you're trying to make a bit of a switch, a bit of a transition. I'm sure you'll still keep growing your personal brand, but a lot of your content was always about your story from Italy and soccer and everything like that. And you're really trying to transition into motivational speaking and mental coaching. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, I mean, my content has always been, which was such a box. Now looking back, it was not a mistake, but I always done videos about soccer, right? I was a soccer player for 23 years. If people were like, oh, Giacomo, okay, like, he's a soccer player that now plays in the United States. All my events were about soccer. All my sponsors were about soccer. And it arrived at a point where I was now 22, 23, and I was like, damn, there's so many more brands that I love, and they wanted nothing to do with me because they were like, you just do soccer. Yeah, so, like I remember at one time, I wrote to this brand and I was like, I mean, my numbers are amazing, my average real views, but they're like, it's just not what we're working with. And so once I retired, it was honestly very hard for me because I went to an identity crisis. I was like, who am I? I'm the soccer player, right? Like, who am I? And so that took me so long because I tried stuff, videos in my language, videos in English. I want to speak in English, but my accent was like so strong that I was scared people would make fun of me, right? And then my switch honestly came from a random day where I was like, I just want to have my dream life. If I don't try now, I can die tomorrow. Like generally I can die tomorrow. And with all like, my surgeries and, diagnosis, I battle anxiety. I was like, you got to live life, man. You just got to try. And that's where now I'm not even putting captions on my videos. You understand? Good. You don't understand? Yeah, it's just like, I feel like I speak a pretty good English for like where I'm from. And, hopefully you understand. But I used to put captions where honestly sometimes ruining the video just because like, hey, at least you can read what I'm saying. Hopefully you understand me. That's just an insecurity,
Interesting.
And so right now my mission is to show and help immigrants, to show what the real life of an immigrant is. Because once again, you see my social media, my followers think that I'm rich. I have a picture with the Corvette, which was a promotion, which was a collaboration. I had a picture with a Genesis that is worth 100K, was a collaboration. I don't have a car, and I just love it, honestly. I never woke up so motivated about like, I don't have much, I'll make it happen.
Well, I was telling you at the beginning of the show that, come 35 and 45, I'm 42 and I'm just getting past an identity crisis myself.
Okay.
You were all soccer, I was all public adjusting, and I regret it also. Just like, I don't regret it, but I do regret it. Just like, I wish I would have gone more broad from the beginning.
Yeah.
All these things that we think about that we wish we would have done.
Yeah, but I still like, I give myself props because especially 8 years ago where it wasn't cool to do TikTok. Like if now you're in college, everybody's making TikToks. You go to a run club, everybody is recording. Right. Like back in my days, no, I was the only one. Right. You can go in my college, there was nobody doing that. And I still have those videos and I'm like, I at least recognize something before the other people because 2021, TikTok had just come. But you were just like, it was more about TikTok dances, hype house, all that stuff. I was just like making vlogs about everything. Like me at the physio, even my physio, he probably honestly hated me because I was like, physios are like, I come, I do your treatment, just get out because I have the next athlete. I was like, 1 second, let me I was respecting their time, right? I wasn't taking more time. But I was like, give me 1 second, I want to put the camera there, record this. How do you feel about it? And they're like, they were not having it. The only one I think loved it was, probably like my last one. They were just like, because my story was already, they saw what I was doing. But 2021, I didn't have followers. I was recording. I was just like a weirdo for some people, right?
Was there a particular influencer that really got you going, or was there a particular moment in time? Like what was it that like kicked you into shooting all this content? That you found that you happened to fall onto this passion?
Loneliness. It was the only loneliness. Like I was just like.
There wasn't something that you saw or something that you noticed. Like for me, it was Casey Neistat. Like
okay.
Casey, that guy was amazing. I was just so drawn in. And my first YouTube channel. Do you have YouTube also?
Yeah. Actually, that's where I became famous first.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's me too. So my first YouTube channel was a travel vlog with my wife.
Okay.
We were just traveling around. All I did was watch everything Casey. Like
he's amazing. He would be a dream guest for my podcast.
He's a runner too. Are you kidding me? That'd be amazing.
I have some people that I know that they met him because now I have some people that they live in New York. Like, a lot of creators came over. I wouldn't say I had like a specific person. I just like I really recognize the power of like rewatching this moment, like and my mom be able to watch what I was doing. Like hey, like. If you call your mom, my mom doesn't like to be on the phone, by the way, but if you call your mom, like you tell her what you did and you tell her like, I woke up, I went to the cafeteria, I went to the physio, I got injured and now I'm here, right? How many variables, could be there? Like what was the cafeteria like? What did you eat? Or boom, I make the video, mom, this is what I did today. My first videos had, I think, 95 views on YouTube, like 95, like not even 100. Were like my mom, probably my cousins, that's it. And so that was the most powerful thing for me. And then, more and more and more and more people, but I never felt the pressure because I was just being myself. That's also why I could have maybe become more famous, like, with the right editing, the right things, the right, viral hook. I was just recording my life. I didn't really care about it.
You mentioned that you mentioned America a couple times, and that it's you chose America. You choose America every single day. What is it that represents? What is America that represents that keeps that choice alive?
I mean, the United States. I never felt so alive in my life. I feel like there's two versions of Giacomo, and one is once again is the Italian version, and one is the American one. I always say if I take my camera today once again it's a little bit a fake example because it's just so normal now to record videos. Let's say 3 years ago, I take my big camera vlog with my big tripod, actually from Casey Neistat, the Gobi Gorilla
The
Gorilla
Joby,
pod,
yeah.
And
I actually have it in there, I think.
yeah, the Joby Gorilla pod. And so let's say I go on river walk, right? On 100 people, 50 are gonna look at me. They're just gonna look at me because like what this guy is doing, right? But I can promise you, like on that 50 people, probably 33, 34, they're just like, what is this guy doing? Like, I'm curious what this person is doing. And if they stop me like, oh, okay, what are you doing? Oh, that's very interesting. Oh, I would love to do that. Oh, can you give me some advice? Where I'm from, because I did it, they say on 100 people, 95, they were just like, look at this idiot. And so I always felt like I couldn't be whoever I wanted to be. If you make videos, still today, by the way, people like make fun of you. If you have a YouTube channel, the comments are like, go find a real job. And I'm like, I probably work more than you though, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how it's not like I work, whenever I was in college, I used to, and that's also like kind of like job because it's your scholarship, right? But I used to wake up, go to training, go to class, and then edit until 2 a.m. And the whole day, like, this. And, I was happy to do it, but I feel like the biggest thing that the United States gives you, which is super fundamental, is you can be who you want, whenever you want, however you want. I feel like you can be gay, you can have 5 YouTube channels, you can, race cars for a living, and people are like, you do you, man, like, that's awesome. Like, I really never felt, maybe sometimes, sure, but like that judged here. They're just like, cool, your story is amazing, And so I feel like you got to be in a place like that to really feel alive. And so that's why this is not about me. I always say this is not about me anymore. This is about my kids, because I want my kids to wake up one day and be like, I don't know what they want to be, but you can. And you can, probably the most critical is like, where do you want your education from? We'll see, hopefully Harvard. That's the college that I like. But if it's not Harvard, and you want to do community college and then you're going to go like, whatever, you can be wherever you want. This is the best country in the world. And it's a tough immigration process, but I would love to be, part of this country because once again, I mean, my life in Italy would be way easier, but I just feel like the United States is unmatched.
Do you plan on trying to bring your mom?
I mean, yes.
Your grandparents are still alive?
Yes, they're still alive. That's what I would say. This is one of the biggest problems. Actually, it's one of the biggest blessings. But one of the biggest problems is that I really want to go back more now because the older they get, the more I want to be able to share my moments. At the same time, I actually can't because I'm building here. And once again, I'm the one building. But yeah, definitely my mom. It's not even about bringing just my mom here. It's like my mom is going to be alone, like nobody's going to take care of her. So I want to make it. I want to have my kids to have their grandma. And hopefully my wife is going to have an amazing family. So my kids are going to be, once again, in a good environment. But I really want to bring my bloodline here just because, once again, I love this country. I feel like a lot of people come here because opportunity, like I love it. Like this is going to be one of the strongest statements, but I feel more American than Italian. And whenever I say it, people are like, but it's like, it's true. Like we can go watch the Lightnings on a Friday night. For me, it's not a problem. That's part of my culture. And if you don't like soccer, for me, it's okay. Like not because you get it, but we are in the States. We are not in Italy. I feel like a lot of people come here and it has to be like where they're from. You're in the States. You're not where you're from. So I love my culture. I love where I'm from. But the United States just changed my life, honestly.
And what do you've got going on now? What's the plan that you want to?
Well, the plan is to grow the podcast as much as possible because I feel like there's so many stories out there that are like incredible. Whether it's like we always want to have like different niches. Like I'm telling you, we're gonna have. That's also like talking about you can be wherever you want. This girl, she's a mermaid. Like she's like in this pool.
Yeah.
And she's a
mermaid. She puts those things on. Yeah.
That's her job. I'm like, that's so like I'm
only in America.
I'm not calling her to be like, oh wow, that's crazy. I'm calling like, amazing. Like, tell me your story. Like, that's incredible, right? And so we want to have all these stories. We want to give the platform to the right people and grow it and grow it. My mission then, just because like, luckily I know a lot of interesting people also in other states, will be to also like, pick my team and be like, we're gonna go a week in LA and do some 5-6 interesting people in LA, and then now we have their stories. One of my dream guest, but I know it's gonna happen because I know him, is I don't know if you ever watched High School Musical, but basically there's this actor in High School Musical which was big in 2006, 2007.
What's his name?
It's Bart Johnson. He was Coach Bolton in the movie, and we've been trying to connect for forever because I'm a big fan of his work, and so whenever I'm gonna go, I want to do his episode. So that's the mission. And me personally, I want to be I want to be like more and more a speaker, because I really feel that once again, the only thing that I have is my story, and I think it's gonna really help people to be like, you don't have to consolidate in what people think that you have to be. I feel like here in Tampa, people think, I hear also from my guests, but like, you gotta have the car, you gotta have this. I'm telling you, I don't have a car. If you want to hang out with me, cool. If you don't want to hang out with me, my story is what makes me, not what I have. And so that's what I feel like talking to people can help.
That's amazing, man. Have you? I seen that you also. Honestly, I love your show, but I also love when you just pour out your feelings and emotions solo in front. Have you thought about doing more of that?
Yeah, I have. It's just like, I feel like the people have to care for you first, like,
Yeah.
or know a little bit more, right? Because honestly, in Italy, it's different. It's a smaller market, 60 million against, I don't know, many in the States. But you can open TikTok, and let's say you make a video about breakup, right? And you have Vince saying like, through a breakup, make sure to like, take care of yourself and go with the right people, right? That's your face. They don't even know if it's Vince. Then you scroll and there's me. Who cares about Vince and who cares about Giacomo, right? But if I know that Vince, he was married for 40 years and, he has kids and he went through that, and now he's telling me how to go through a breakup, I'm very interested. Like, you're someone to learn from. So I'm trying to show my story first about like, hey, this is actually who I am. And then I feel like it's going to have a little bit more weight in my words for them to actually trust what I'm saying, because I generally just want to help people.
And you said that you have also helped, and this is just by direct messages, but you've helped a lot of immigrants come over, correct?
Yeah, I helped a lot of people, honestly, for free as well. And then I was actually helping with like also like an agency. I don't work with them anymore, but like I was helping them. Like a ton of people used to like write me for the videos, and then this agency helps you with the paperwork and stuff like that to do everything the right way. But it has to be more than 2,000 people from today.
That's amazing.
And like the amount of people, think about that they were undecided, but they saw my video and then they came here. I don't know. They didn't let me know. I'm telling you the numbers just from the messages that I received.
So I don't know, you may know him already. There's a local business broker. So I'm a business broker. Mm-hmm. I help people sell their businesses, and I also help them scale to sell their business. And I haven't met him yet, but I was introduced to him. We're going back and forth on Instagram. I don't know if you know him. I don't have his name in front of me, but he's Italian, and he specializes in helping Italians who are coming over buy businesses.
Okay, no.
You don't know who that is?
No.
I'd like to introduce you to him.
Yeah,
I think it'd be a great connection.
Let's do that.
Because I believe what there is obviously a lot of times, I don't know, so it just stop me when I'm talking like an idiot, but you have to receive a sponsorship, correct? You have to work for a company, or if you have a company, you can sponsor yourself, or there's different things you can do,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
So he helps them in that way, in being able to basically acquire a business, then they could sort of sponsor themselves, that they could sponsor the family, and so on and so forth.
That's very similar to, I don't know that, because I came here, as a player,
an athlete, yeah.
As an athlete, but I actually have a guy that now has become a friend. He just came from Paris. Like, his daughters, they don't speak English. I mean, now they're learning. They're amazing. But he came and he was like, he had to found a business here, of course, through like the help, maybe that type of person.
Yeah.
But it was scary, right? Because he had to put a lot of money and be like, is it gonna work? Are people gonna like what I do? It's it really makes you different. Like, whenever I speak with an immigrant, man, it's I gotta say, it's different. Like,
Well, and you're like, you understand them.
You understand, like, the guy that just gave me the car, it's an immigrant, by the way, because you were like, where's this Mercedes? That's an immigrant. And he was like, man,
use it.
I've seen your videos. You don't have a car? Use my car. I'm like, I just feel bad, just like.
No wonder it's so tough to get you here. You didn't mention that. I would have picked you up.
No, man. But you see, like, I feel like I'm 8 years old, but it's like, that was like, he literally, he was supposed to give me the car because he's been following my videos. I think we spoke for an hour and a half yesterday night, like at 11 p.m. Usually I go to sleep way early, but he was like, man, how hard is that? Oh yeah, how hard is it? I'm like, man, wow, yes, I completely related that. And He was relating to me. And it's like, sometimes I speak with my American friends, and I had some of my guests, they were shocked about like my story. They were like, oh my gosh. And so that's why I just want to keep going, man, because I feel like I want to have a good job. I want to have like an amazing wife, a good family, and just like make it.
Well, I think definitely that's you should be in that realm. Something, because it's like with me, I've been an entrepreneur for 17 years. So when I started doing this, it was about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
And it was the same feeling. The first two conversations I had with a business owner who was stressed. They don't want to be in the business. They want to sell the business. They want to retire. They're over it. I'm like, I understand. I get it. Entrepreneurship fucking sucks. So I definitely want to introduce you to this guy. I'll give you all his information after, and I'm gonna keep talking. I've been meaning to get with him, but dude, you two would be like I don't know if it's a sponsorship for you or you become and help him as a broker, and like there's a lot because he has the same why. It's I'm sure he's obviously came here as an immigrant and he wants to try to help his people come over and be in the U.S. and
that's amazing, man. I respect really everybody. Cool. Yeah, I respect everybody that has that big purpose because it's beautiful. I thought it was for a lot of years about me, right? I want to be like here in the States, but I'm like, now my journey, I wanted to inspire other people because I didn't make it yet. Am I going to make it? Mm-hmm. Yes, by the way. It's not even who knows. It's like yes, because it's all in your mind. But that's what I feel like, to reply to your question, my future looks like. It's just like help as many people as I can.
I love it. Jaco, your story is phenomenal. Thank you so much
Thank you
for bringing the old man's car over here to come to the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Okay, hopefully he doesn't see this.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Vince.